We are live. What up, y'all? This is your man, Abuamerican, live. Got a big crowd here today. A little bit smaller than what we expected, but we're still here. We got our continual guest, Abu Jamal, as y'all should know by now. We have Noor, and we have Novice, Bright Star. So we're going to be discussing something that basically Noor wanted to talk about. But first, let me do this. Let me put out these links so that people know where to find us, that people know we're on the air. Let me copy this. And we're going to get some people in here watching. Where's that Facebook? Come on. My internet's running real slow because we're live here. Give me a minute.
Yeah, they're live on YouTube.
What's that?
They're live on YouTube.
We're live right now. We are live. We are broadcasting.
Oh wow, nice.
So give me 1 second. Let me put the
That
link
means
up.
Facebook can see us 1,000.
Good, let them see, especially women. They need to listen.
I can't even hear y'all for real, man.
Okay, there we go. Let me post that one link
Look,
there.
Right.
And then in the group. So, Noor,
Yes, sir.
you had a question, man, and it's basically the title of this video.
It's not really a question. It's basically like I just noticed a lot going on with women lately, like that they think that it's okay for them to do, but then if a man does it, it's a different story. You know? I have so many friends of mine that just like they might get into it with their wife or something, and then she might just take the kids and disappear for 2-3 weeks, just disappear off the face of the earth, you know, and then she can get away with that kind of stuff. But when a dude does it, the police get involved, people are getting involved, family members are getting involved. You know, I mean, even like
We got like some TV or something going on in the background.
Nah, we'll listen.
Nah, so much TVs in the background. It's like really cutting into the audio. Okay, so you know, this is a big topic, man. It's like, you know, but this is like, you know, we talk about this all the time. It's the gynocentric society that we live in the 21st century, man. And, you know, I've had this conversation with women multiple times where it's like women are in this perpetual state of denial where like you tell them like, look, this stuff is happening and dudes are in marriages and they're miserable and dudes are in marriages and they're having a difficult time. They don't believe me. Well, it's not that they don't believe me. They're just in denial about it and they're rejecting the whole entire concept. So, you know, but this is like something that's affecting the Muslim community is something that a lot of people are in outright denial about, both men and women. Give me a second. I need to close some doors.
I'm Abdurrahman.
Yeah.
I think, can I make one final point?
Yeah.
The who?
I was just going to tell you a little story that I had that I was just going to say before you.
Okay, let's hear it.
So basically, I had this meeting with a sister, right? This was about 2 weeks ago. I hope she watches this video as well, by the way. So
probably not.
Okay. So the meeting was for 12 o'clock, for example, yeah?
Yeah.
So I turned up on time, like literally maybe like 5 minutes before time.
Yeah.
And this chick tried to turn up 40 minutes late. So her Wali kept calling me, kept texting me and saying, I'm going to be there in 10 minutes. I'm going to be there in 10 minutes. And literally 40 minutes went past. And I was like, now I feel like I'm being desperate.
Yeah, you quiet. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can. You're back here, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. All right, cool.
Okay, so
what's the topic?
It's okay for you to be late. But when I'm late, it's a big deal and you don't want to wait 2 minutes.
I'll text
So
you.
I just left. I left, man.
Yeah, no, you did a smart thing too, man. That was a smart thing to just bounce on them like that. You know, you can't allow, there's two things you can't really have is you can't have a woman abusing your time and your money because both are exceptionally precious, you know.
Mm.
I actually did a video about this. It's like, that women, you can't have it all. And I talk about this in specific that if a woman wants a successful man, she is oh, I got two sounds going on in the background. Give me a second. Um, you can't have a successful man that isn't a busy man.
Mm.
And if you don't have a busy man, you're not going to have a successful man. So a busy man's not going to have a whole lot of time and attention to provide to you because he's going to be out busting his butt to make things happen and be successful. And this is important as we understand both for you as a woman in her solipsistic sense and for the children and their future, generational wealth being passed on. You have to establish this as a man. But that man's not going to have the time and attention to spend on you like you want. And if you have a man that does have time and attention to spend on you like that, then he's not really going to be a successful man. And so then later on, her solipsistic nature is going to what? Desire her hypergamous nature is going to desire a man who can provide that type of lifestyle that she wants for her offspring. So they're never going to be totally satisfied. They're always going to want more. This is why you always find women always coming up with excuses as to why they left. He didn't pay attention to me. He only bought me stuff. And then she goes, lives with some bum for a while, the rock star who's got time, the 50-year-old rock star, wannabe rock star. And he's got time to spend on her because he doesn't really have any sort of goals or accomplishments or anything he's trying to achieve. And then eventually she sees that. And then what does she do? She leaves that guy. Then she bounces around, AKA, what do we call it? The carousel. And this is how women end up on the carousel perpetually, especially in their younger years, Mm-hmm. So, it's good that you bounced on them like that, man, because you can't seem like a very bad precedent, that's anyway, the kuffar will tell you right off the rip. That's a shit test right off the rip, man. So, it's good that you bounced on that, man.
I get that, bro, for sure. I was just like waiting around. It's almost like I'm desperate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it does. It like puts you in a position where it tries and makes you seem like you're desperate, you're thirsty or something. I find it to actually be quite abusive.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, even in Jahiliyyah, if you turn up late, then it's a big deal. But when they want to turn up late, all of a sudden it's not a problem. Yeah. I was doing my makeup, I was getting ready. Oh.
But society supports this from women. And that's what comes back to what you're talking about. It's like, why is it okay for them? This is part of the gynocentric nature. I was talking to a guy. He's actually not a Muslim guy. We were talking about this today. And it's like, basically, man, there's like an absolute war on anything that's considered to be moral or conservative, in terms of values. There's an outright war on it, And the easiest methodology to win that war is to come at you through what? The doorway of the women. And women are they're making it happen. They just seem to be so gullible to not even see what's going on, because everything that they want is being catered to, and it's never wrong. It's very easy for them to just be, fall into that stuff. So
yeah, that's heavy.
Imagine it, bro. Imagine a world where, we've got 4 black guys in here, right? There's supposed to be a guy here, he's a black, but let's just say we are in a world where everything is catered to us based off of our race. Okay, we know it's wrong, but how much would you really resist? Tell me.
What do you mean by catered to us?
I'm saying that if you were in a world where education was given to you just based off of your color only, there's no other reason. Although we do have racially biased and, and racial and ethnic scholarships, the way that women are pushed into university, ethnicity, we're not ethnically pushed into university that way. If anything we did was excused and it could be rationalized away, I could go and smack a dude and then they'd be like, oh, he's the victim, like you see with women. You know, I was just listening to an article by Turd Flinging Monkey, and he's talking about how in Spain, a woman can beat you up, and if you call the cops, they'll arrest you, put you in jail, and give her your place, and then pay her 400 euros a month. And they'll do that for like 11 months. You're out of your own house. Because they were wondering why is nobody being married? Why do they have a birth rate of 1.3? Abysmal birth rate. They're going to be extinct like that. They're like, why? So imagine if we had a world like that as Black people. We'd know it's wrong, but how much would you really resist? You'd be like, yeah, man, this is bad, but I need to go get this money. You know what I mean?
What happens? It's any form of privilege. I think everybody has some form of privilege that they can benefit from at a certain time. How much of it would you accept, and how much of it would you reject? You know.
Yeah. Look. Okay. We got a female commenter here on the live chat, and she says women get everything because they are given it for free. They don't have to make much effort to get what they ask for. As a woman, I disagree with that concept because Islam has a perfect solution to it. Now, I've said this before also. This is the problem with feminism. Feminism was a matter of demands being met, but they weren't earned. The women wanted rights, but they didn't earn those rights. Even when they say like women didn't have the right to vote. Yeah, nobody had the right to vote. That's what they don't tell you. There was only a certain sector of men who were allowed to vote. The vast majority of men weren't allowed to vote. And if those men wanted to vote, what did they have to do? They had to go to war. And imagine war in the First World War, where you scratch yourself, get sepsis, and your entire arm will rot off, and you get it amputated, you know, in order to get the right to vote. So they didn't even have to earn it. Even today, when we look at the United States, the draft affects only who? Men. Exactly. Yet and still they have equal rights without equal responsibility or accountability. So she's absolutely right. Women are given stuff based off of the demands that they give. They're not given anything by way of merit or effort. All a woman has to do is ask, and there'll be a line out to the moon of men trying to hand it to her for free.
Especially if she's good looking too.
Yeah, it's even worse if she's good looking. It's especially so. So she said basically it's like, yes, and this is correct. And I say the same thing. It's true. Islam is the perfect solution. Basics that a man should provide are food, clothing, and shelter. Period. That's it. If extras are given by a man, it is on his own terms and not what she demands or asks for, or she just says what she asks for, but I have to add demands in there. Blue's the color. Welcome. He says man should only provide food, clothing, and shelter. If his wife is good, then he should divorce. If his wife is not good, okay, then he should divorce. I'm like, if she's good, you divorce her. No, if his wife is not good, he should divorce her, her ungrateful ass, and marry another.
He's on to something.
What's my phone doing? Okay. Yeah, it's madness, man. Got a bunch of background noise again. Excuse me, gentlemen.
It's another brother want to join. He just gave me his email. Hold up. I'm gonna have you send. I'm gonna send it to you.
At the end of the day, I think that's the root of the problem, is that things are given freely without being earned, you know, and especially to women. I mean, but that's what guys want to do. You know, I mean, who doesn't want to make his woman happy? In general, he wants to make his woman happy. And what's the easiest way to do that? From the labors and the efforts of your hands. Because generally we as men don't really comprehend like a lot of stuff that women say, because women don't really speak in direct terms to us. So we put in efforts to build something, a life, which is normally based around what? Economics. You know, we go out, we make money, we get a house, we get a car, whatever else. We know that they like it. And then we want to make them happy. Oh, baby, I want new curtains. I want new furniture. I want this. I want a bigger house. I want an extension to the balcony. And guys generally go out and do it. Correct? Why? To make her happy.
Excuse me. May I interject for a couple of seconds?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, another email. Brother just gave it to me. He wants to join. Check your inbox on the messenger.
Okay. This is going to be a Facebook Messenger, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, please.
I'm gonna read out real
Someone continue. We're alive. People are watching and like listening to it, watching us be silent here.
quick.
The brother that, yeah, you can continue. The one that initially had this topic that brought up.
Okay. He's added.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Noor, did you want
Yeah,
to
I'm
add
sorry
something
about that. I'm
else?
trying to get my connection fixed.
It's cool. Sounds good.
No problem. We're live. Noor, so you want to go? You want to go back into what you were talking about? You want to add on to this?
Yeah, I'm trying to read something off my phone. Can I do it? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Alright, sweet. So it says, Hadith, it said, Ibn Baz, she, his wife, should be humble and should use kind and soft words when dealing with her husband, in order not to irritate him and drive him to divorce her. Ibn Baz.
Yeah, yeah. Noor, can you put on some headphones because what we're doing is we're getting like a feedback, so we're getting like a multiple loop of your voice over and over.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay. So, life is simple like that. More men knew. So, Super Milka, the woman says, that's why the Hadith says most dwellers of hellfire are women because they're ungrateful. And then she says, Alhamdulillah, I learned I get what I want on my own. I work for myself. I never asked anyone for anything. Blue's the color. You have to speak to
You hear
women
that
with
a
your
lot, too.
emotional side of the brain, not your logical side. This is why women love bad boys and not nerds. Then she
So you saying
confirms
they
it.
like roughnecks?
Yeah, and in Super Milka, she confirms it where she says, look at the reasons for it, because bad boys give them excitement. Now, if you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know that I tell you that, you know, regardless of anything, you got to give your girl, you got to give her the roller coaster, man. You got to give her the emotional roller coaster. If you don't, you're going to end up losing her. That's just the reality. Now, do you have to be
You
a bad
have to
boy?
give her the roller coaster?
You have to, man. You cannot be slow and steady, Mr. Oh, well, baby, I love you so much. I mean, you can be like that, but if you don't add in some like, you know, some roller coaster in there, you're gonna have a rough time, man. You got to keep the emotions like up and down, loop de loop. You know, it's a necessity, man. If not, in the 21st century, you are going to have a very rough relationship life. It's not going to last long.
Crazy. It's true as well.
Yep, there she goes. She says it. Routine kills any relationship. Blues the color says exactly, bro. So you got a woman here confirming what I'm telling you.
Mm. Yeah, excuse me. I'm over here networking. I'm also talking to Sadiqa Charles. I'm sure you guys familiar with who that is. See if she was
Nah,
on.
I don't know who that is, bro.
Dalil knows who it is.
Routine kills any.
She sometimes agree with a lot of stuff that me and Dalil post in particular, and sometimes inboxes us, you know, something that she want to join or whatnot. Allahu Alam.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you can continue. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I heard. What is it? The one? The how you say that? You said your mic is a bit low, but you said routine kills any relationship. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Generally, I think it's incumbent upon you. Maybe not so much so in the past, but in this day and age, it's incumbent upon you to be like unpredictable in general. You know, that's emotionally and sometimes even in your routine. Sometimes you just gotta just disappear and they like don't know where you're at. When they ask where you're at, you be like, I'm out.
It's just young women. I like it. I think women like it.
You got to speak up a little bit, bro.
Hang on, take off. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello.
There you go.
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't think it's just before. Like people think it's just young girls that like that, you know, go for the dude with the edge and stuff. But I think it's all women. You know, I think it's all women like a dude with the edge. Like just the other day, my friend was telling me like back in school, he got into a fight with a teacher. This was years ago. And then like randomly, some girl came up to him, man, and she was like, "Oh, I heard you done so and so to a teacher. Like, how'd you beat up the teacher?" And he hardly pushed the teacher. Like, he just pushed him. And she was excited by the fact that he done something like that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just goes to show, like,
They like bad boys.
There's a term for this, for bistrophilia or something like this. I can't remember exactly. It's the love and the attraction to someone who has committed some sort of egregious crime. There's an actual word for it. Let me see if I can find it.
The thirst for danger. So women are attracted to danger because we've seen many different, like, I want to say, documentaries or whatnot, and it shows how women will be basically sending letters and stuff to, like, convicted serial killers and stuff, or heinous crimes. Women will be sending them stuff. Women are attracted to this kind of stuff. It's their natural biological makeup.
Hibistophilia. Hibistophilia.
Sound
That's
like
what
a
it's
thief.
called. There's an actual term
Hibiscus.
for it. The attraction to, let me give the exact definition here. Give me 1 second. Because this is one heck of a word to pronounce.
Actually, I can't add nobody, can I? You got to add Sadiqa. I sent you her
I
email.
added her. I sent her an invite. It said,
Okay.
sexual arousal, facilitation, and attainment of orgasm are responsive to and contingent upon being with a partner known to have committed an outrage, cheating, lying, known infidelities, a crime such as rape, murder, or armed robbery. Hibistophilia. I can't even say it. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So yeah, that's let me see. We got something in the chat going on here, so I'm just gonna. Blues Collar says bad boys are more emotional in a good way. They understand social cues. Then Super Milk says probably that's the reason why women's roles are reversing. Women chasing men, women trying to get high positions to outdo men. Ask for future plans, and they don't even mention being a wife or a mother. Much more cases are shown they don't even want kids at all. Bad boys do not want to settle. They are players, breakers of hearts, moving on. Yeah.
Oh, so Sadiqa's in here? Sadiqa, are you in here?
I sent her an invite, but she hasn't joined the group.
No, I just said assalamu alaikum in the chat. She said I did.
No, there's only 3 of us in here right now, or 4 of us actually. Anyway, I've sent 2 invitations. We'll see what happens.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, women are unfair because they can be, bro. I mean, that's just the reality of society we live in right now. You know, look at what happened. You know what a classic example is in an odd and roundabout way. Look at Milo Yiannopoulos. He's the kind of a classic example. He abused his position as a homosexual male to speak in a manner which was basically wouldn't be accepted from anybody else. If it was a heterosexual white male speaking like that instead of a homosexual one, they would have fried that guy years ago. But now, because of whatever reason, and there's actually a good article on this on the return of kings, how they're frying them, how none of it makes sense. So when that card gets pulled, it's sudden. And I've been saying this for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, that a backlash against this current situation with women is coming. And when it happens, just like with Milo, it's going to be fast, it's going to be swift, it's going to be harsh, and it's going to be out of the blue. No one's going to see it coming. It's going to be very unexpected. Milo was just making a book deal for like $250,000. It got yanked. He was speaking for, what is this thing? The Republican National Congress or something like this. He did it before, out of the blue. Yanked it from them. It's going to be the same thing with the situation that women are facing right now. All that good favor is going to just disappear, like I like to do. It's going to be gone from one second to the next, and then you're going to be out in the wilderness in the rough and tumble world with the rest of us. Then they're going to know hardship. So, it's this whole. It's untenable. It's not sustainable. the current situation. You even sorry.
I noticed something. Like if you go like to the websites where the fights are going on, like the World Star Hip Hop and whatnot, there's a lot
Yeah.
more guys attacking women now. Have you noticed that? Before it was like the guy trying to defend himself and stay away and not get
Mm-hmm.
hit and try and create some sort of distance. But I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of videos now where guys are actually hitting back. I disagree with it completely. By the way, I don't think any man should.
I'm actually of the opinion that if you attack a person, you should be prepared to be attacked back. I don't believe gender should protect you from give you any sort of special privilege to attack someone. If you attack another human being, you should be prepared to defend yourself. That's my humble opinion. And I have a coach. He taught me jujitsu. He's from Saudi. He's not from Saudi. He's American, but he lives in Saudi. He's still there right now. He's a professor. And he always said, keep your hands to yourself.
True, true.
You know him actually, Noor. You know him.
My professors too.
Yeah. So he's always like, keep your hands to yourself. It's one of his favorite statements in the jiu-jitsu scene, and I 100% agree with that. If you're not ready to fight, you see, I learned to fight because I like to be controversial. I like controversial statements, and I understand that some people can't socially accept that. Some people aren't mature enough to actually accept and fight back in terms of intellect and linguistics. So I learned how to fight because I need to be able to shag rear if somebody just wants to be like, oh, you know what, I can't win, so I'm just going to beat you up. Okay, no, you're not. Watch this. I will defeat you intellectually. I'll defeat you physically. Let's do it. So, in my humble opinion, if women don't want to get hit by men, don't enter into the realm of men. Women are excellent social engineers, and they should stick to that realm. This is, when you look at TV shows and they show how women used to do real behind the scenes moves and shakers and moving and stuff. This is actually how women worked. And this was actually smart because women in the past understood that, they didn't have the physical capacity to challenge a man. And therefore they needed to use feminine guile to win a man over. Nowadays, when they're watching movies, Scarlett Johansson on X-Men or whatever the thing she's on, beating up 7 dudes after, 5 400-pound men got their butt whipped. Now she's going to come along with her little, 60-pound butt and whip these guys.
Right. She couldn't handle Hulk though, but I get the point.
Yeah.
Look at her face. I just love. When the woman just she keeps on hitting this dude. It's on YouTube. She keeps hitting this dude and hitting this dude. He's a big dude. He's on a train, and she keeps trying to slap him. And she's trying to slap him, and he's trying to get away. And she's trying to slap him.
Yeah.
And this dude turned around and smacked the text out.
Yeah, Mr. 8-Ball jacket. Yeah.
Her face was just amazing to her, man. She was so shocked and just humbled.
You know what's? Yeah, I seen it. And you know what's funny? There's multiple videos like this. What's funny is how nobody will intervene when the woman's attacking a man, but the moment the man finally breaks and defends himself, everybody jumps on him.
Yep. I agree.
It's unbelievable, man.
That's why it's dangerous. You gotta know how to fight too, because it's usually the guys that don't have nothing to do with it that's gonna jump in. Not even her family.
This is something that Blues the Color says. He said, a man must learn how to fight in every way possible, or you'll get dropped in front of your wife and kids one day. Absolutely.
Hey, that's heavy.
There's in Super Milka, the girl, she says, I know quite a few cases where a man was beaten up by a wife. Yeah, you do have men that are beaten up by wives. It's rare, but it does happen more and more lately. The statistics for, if you look at if you go to these MRI guys, the men's right groups, they actually show that statistically women are more physically abusive than men are, in the sense that they initiate physical conflicts within the relationship more than men do. And that if you are a lesbian, you are absolutely, there's an 80% chance you're in an abusive relationship physically, because lesbians have the highest rate in any relationship, be it homosexual men, homosexual women, heterosexual men and women. They have the highest rate of physical abuse in any of the relationship groups there are. So women are known to be more aggressive physically and to resort to violence quicker than men are.
Super Milika 2009 just made a good point. But if he were to hit her, he would go to jail. Exactly.
Yeah.
She might get 10 hits. Bam, 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 bam. He might just backhand, get out of the way. Just like that. Go to jail now.
Yeah.
So this is this a part of what is this like gynocentrism, or this is something that feminism is trying to fight to have like a firm hold on, or what? Do you think this ties into feminism or what?
I mean, there's a historical context and precedence for the protection of women. I mean, it's, we always talk about like the tribes, I don't, the tribe of 100 people, 50 men, 50 women. It's an absolute necessity to protect women. But when is this now being abused? Since when did, let me just go back over to the whole thing. Most people know it, but like if you have a tribe of 50 men, 50 women, you can kill 40 of the men. And those 10 men can still impregnate those 50 women, and the tribe can expand at a rate of 50 children every 9 months undamaged. But if you kill 40 of the women and you have 50 men left and 10 women, the tribe has taken an exceptionally almost an irreparable damage to its potential future, because now the tribe can only increase at the rate of 10 children every 9 months. And the tribe will probably take further damage because those men will fight viciously. Those 50 men will fight viciously to the death to gain access to those 10 women. So, I mean, the precedence in terms of biology, and this goes back to my video where I was saying women are more valuable than men. That is true. Women are more biologically valuable than men. They do need to be protected. But when did we, as an intellectual species, humans, lose our intellect? When did we actually lose our minds and like stop looking at logic and reason of a situation, to where we like actually punish men for the for the transgresses of women? It doesn't make sense. This is what they do in Spain, and look at what's happening to Spain. Spain is suffering 1.3 replacement population. There's no way they're going to recover from that. It's just like Germany. They're eventually going to be a dead people. They're going to disappear off the face of the earth. And why? Because they've set up an adversarial type of relationship between men and women. And who's done this other than feminism?
Correct. I would like to know, can you add why? Why do you think men in particular are empowering feminism? Shall I say not just laymen of the men, but the men with the power, they're pushing it, you know what I mean? Why do you think they're pushing it? Do you think because of men, they don't feel like hearing the complaining, or what's the agenda behind it, or what comes from it?
Well, you have one firm, knowledgeable understanding of why men do it. One is the beta male. Generally, beta males are very focused men. They have lower testosterone production, and therefore they are less sexually interested or sexually driven than men with higher testosterone. Therefore, they are highly focused in their endeavors. So how does a man who cannot compete physically with another man compete with them for the affections of a woman? Well, he outshines him in terms of his finances. So those men who are highly focused in career and less so on, sexual conquest or accomplishment, what does he do? He becomes a man of power. And then he tries to change the standard of what manhood is based upon his standard. A real man is, a provider and a maintainer. Okay, yeah, he is, of course, absolutely. But who says that the physical worker guy, can't do that too? So now the standard changes because he has to be a man with power. He has to have an executive job. He has to have so much money per month, or per year. He has to make 6 figures a year. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's changed the standard of what it takes, of what masculinity is, to make him the apex of masculinity. The second one is theory and hypothesis, or more like conspiracy, which is that there is some cabal of, cabal of individuals who like to see the downfall of society and the reduction of human population. And when you really look at it, there is quite a bit of evidence that points that way. You'll hear it from Illuminatis to this to that. There is a lot of information out there that would support that ideology. But since I don't want to go into, conspiracy theories and whatnot, we're just gonna have to leave it at like, that's the second thing, that you have the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and these other type of people who would like to see a reduced population, which is easier to control. And feminism seems to fit that bill. When you look at the Black Lives Matter movement, and that's financed by Soros, And when you look at the Black Lives Matter, and I did a video on this also, when you look at like their what is it, their core principles, I mean, it's looking to absolutely destroy the African American community. Black Lives Matter, they're more dangerous to Black people than the police are. If they just gave the cops free reign and told them that you can kill Black people at will with no legal repercussions, Black Lives Matters would still, in my book, be classified as more dangerous than the police.
That's crazy.
Those people are sick. Naab says men should separate themselves from violent women, and same of women, or I guess he means same as women, has a violent husband. Completely unacceptable. Agreed. Super Milka says Islam protects both men and women's rights. Yeah, absolutely. Welcome, Sadiqa.
Yeah, she's been here for a few minutes now.
Yeah, lurking there.
If you have any interjections too, walaikum salam. Don't be shy to just tell us. Okay, this is where I objected or something. You know.
But Noor, coming back to what you're saying, if you go on that I talked about this yesterday, but unfortunately that video cast didn't work out well. There's a Facebook channel called something Feminism, some Muslim sister against feminism. I think it's Muslim against feminism or something like this. You know, the talk is already there. What I was talking about, like when retribution comes, if you want to call it retribution, it's going to be swift. And a guy, I don't know, he actually said something that I did say. That's like, you know, when the time comes, these Muslim feminists don't look to us for protection because you're not going to be viewed as one of us. And I'm in some non-Muslim groups that are basically they're red pill, and they say the same thing. It's like, you know, all these liberal, you know, far left leaning women, the regressive left, as they like to be called, they're like, you know, if anything happens, any sort of war, any sort of collapse, you know, ISIS comes for you, it's like, don't look to us for help. You know, you've established the lines, you know, these are the lines and you've crossed it. You're not on our team anymore. So
that's heavy.
It's already being stated, you know, and nothing's happened yet.
So basically, this comes out of manipulation, like throw us to the curve because we're looked at as very little value. But then when it's time for a benefit, then okay, run back to the same people you ran away from.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a she's a Kaffir lady. She does this. She's trying to push like for feminists, you know, not feminists, sorry, excuse me, for femininity to return to the African American community, because she's saying that most African American women are in a masculine state. They're very aggressive, you know, they're trying to be independent, and she's saying that like you need your men, so you need to be feminine because only feminine women can attract a masculine man. And as men, we know this is absolutely correct, but you should see the resistance she faces. And then she brought the example of Sandra Bland, which was, she was spot on, but the Black community tore into her for it. She was like, had Sandra Bland had so much as a boyfriend who even remotely cared about her, she wouldn't have spent a day in jail. Had her father been an active member of her life, he'd been like, where's my girl? He'd send somebody or get in his car with borrowed money or borrow a car and go out and drive for hours to get his girl out of jail. There's no situation that I can think of where I would be in some part of the world and I found out my girl was locked up somewhere that I wouldn't leave where I was at that moment and fly across the world for her. So she's like, where were the men in this woman's life? This is the type of backlash you face when you alienate yourself from your men. And, you know, we don't want to take advantage of this poor woman's death. You know, she was obviously murdered. But the reality is something went wrong. There was no man there. Why? No one came looking for her. She was in jail 3 days before it was discovered she was dead. 3 days? I mean, I don't know. Sadiqa, can you imagine being, I don't know what your condition is, but would someone come looking for you in 3 days?
Can you hear? Sadiq, can you hear? Did you hear him?
Well, I don't know. Anyway, some of the comments here. NAAB says children goes against hedonism in Western society. They have to put someone else before themselves. I don't think people are not having children because of the conflict between men and women. Actually, you should look at that turd flinging monkey video. I might link it to you here in the chat here. You got to watch it. Actually, that might actually be the case. Super Milka says, I think this is what feminism does to women, giving them all sorts of freedoms to do as they wish. Naab says, children eat away your money, time, energy, and even your health. Yeah, but that's the point. I mean, you're basically investing in your future. You know, you give from yourself so that they can build. So that's a part of, reproduction. Even some species, when we look at animals, if we look at the animal kingdom and how Allah has created them, basically some of the males sacrifice their life, like snakes, spiders, and one of these things called praying mantises. They sacrifice their entire life so that the female has energy to build and have the strength to reproduce, his offspring. So, I mean, this is pretty common across the animal kingdom and the way that, it's been created. We just don't have to let women eat our heads. We just need to eat our wallets. Supermook says, in the aftermath is that women go screwing as many men as they want, and they do not know who the father is. Yeah, if you watch Mari, that'll be, terrible. The problem is that beta weight night males have given his woman too much power to dictate relationships between men and women in the West. I agree with that.
Other thing you didn't mention though, with that though, after that you said backing up, women go have sexual relations with other men and stuff, and then they come try to find another guy to pick up the slack and get mad at him when he says he don't want that because he has standards, he has his own thing he want to do.
Yeah, but this is part of reading the book Rational Male by Rollo Tomassi. Rollo Tomassi in Rational Male book 2, what's it called? The Preventative Medicine. He actually presents in the opening of the book a timeline of a woman's life. So as her life progresses, her needs progress also, or they change, and therefore what she's looking for in a specific man in her, say, from 19 to 25 is different from what she's looking for in a man from like 30 on to 40, 30 and up. And so, and the book is actually quite accurate when you really look at the behavior of a lot of women. I mean, he's a human behaviorist, so it makes sense that, everything he said, does make sense. So this is part of the problem with hypergamy, though. In terms of unchecked hypergamy. Let me say that. There's no problem with hypergamy in its purest sense. Unchecked, uncontrolled hypergamy, which, to all my non-Muslim viewers, I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but really Islam does have the answer for it. This is part of the problem of unchecked, unregulated hypergamy.
Can you go over some of the results of it also?
Well, I mean, what we're seeing in Western society, I mean, it's the results. I mean, just absolute hedonism and, sexual promiscuity. Mari, there was an episode where a woman, he does the DNA test. You are not the father. This woman brought 7 men on the show and not one of them were the father.
Wow.
How do you come to that where you bring 7 men on a show and you don't know which one's the father and then none of them are the father? How many more were there? I mean, what's going on here? This is unchecked hypergamy where now, and if you listen to this guy, I'm not MGTOW because I don't think a Muslim can be MGTOW, but there's a guy called Metaphysics of MGTOW. His name is Marcus. And he talks about like how deference works. So a man provides deference to a woman in order to gain sexual access. A woman provides sexual access to a man in order to gain deference, right? It's a trade-off. Now, so what happens is this: in order to receive a higher level of deference, a woman provides more physical access. So down here, you have men who have no self-value. They just provide their deference free of will. And I have a video about this talking about stop making yourself a whore. A man whore is a man who provides his time and his resources to a woman without receiving sexual access. Now, of course, in Islam, we don't fornicate, but you get the point I'm making here. So this is the man, he's providing this. These are the beta white knight orbiters. He's providing his deference free of charge. He's not getting anything in return from it. She's basically screwing the heck out of him. He's being a male whore, and women will look at him the same way in that particular regard, or roughly. So in order for a woman to get the deference that she wants from a man, she's going to have to provide him with something. So if this is a valuable man, she needs to provide him with what? Sexual access. So she starts getting deference from multiple men. Why? Because she wants more stuff. One man for this, one man to go shopping, one man to talk to me, one man to whatever this, that, the other.
Like friend zoning them.
Yeah, exactly. So in order to get everything that a woman wants in one man, which is almost impossible, she needs to provide deference to multiple men. You know, and the more she does this, the more damage it causes her, because eventually it comes to the point where no one man can provide all the deference that she received in the lifetime of herself from those multiple men. One man might be extra rich. One man might be extra touchy-feely emotional guy, the friend zone guy. You know, one guy's good at conversation. What one man is going to hold all of these attributes? He's a unicorn. Just like all men are looking for the unicorn virgin female, this woman's not going to find that unicorn virgin or unicorn man, you know, and therefore she ends up damaged and cannot be happy with any man. And this is what we see in this current time, in this current day and age, why we see so many relationships ending. Western society, no fault divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by who?
Women.
I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. It's not that he's not a good man, just not happy. This comes from deference. From too much deference, unchecked deference. This is part of hypergamy. This is what the sexual revolution brought. Now, of course, Islam mandates and dictates what? Separation of the sexes. You do not mix men and women freely. It prevents that.
Behind it, yes.
It's the absolute wisdom, of course. But if you tell the average non-Muslim guy that, you know, the creator knows his creation best, they're going to be like, hey, monkeys, we came from apes or some crazy crap that comes out of their mouth, you know?
Can you quote that statistic, or that was from I want to say sexual biological study that mentions about the likelihood of someone breaking apart or a couple due to how many partners they had in the past?
You know, it's really hard to find a study, and I think it's buried intentionally. I've only found it once, and I saved it on my phone, and then, of course, I changed phones twice. There was a study done by a female researcher. Yeah, there was a study done by a female researcher that shows that for every sexual partner a woman has, there's a 7% increased chance that she will leave her next partner. She has one partner, there's a 7% chance she's going to leave her next partner. She has 5 partners, 35%. 10 partners, 70% chance she's going to leave her next partner.
Wow, so the more
this is a female researcher that did this. So, you know, you can't say it's
and it might be for something small too, because she's always going to compare you to the other partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
According to what he had.
She proved, you know, statistically that the longest lasting relationships tend to be where the wife was a virgin and she tends to stay longest with that man that she slept with first.
Makes sense, because she's not gonna really compare you to nothing. Of course, other than yourself, you know what I mean? She don't have nothing to compare you to. Naab said, when we were talking about Sandra Bland going back here, he said Sandra had a family, even a father, but they didn't give a fark. And she even called her family and they refused to pay bail. F them. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Wow. He's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of family that is. That's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. I'm not sure how many people on the chat is from the hood, but I would like to add something crazy on how that goes. In regards to like my family, it's mostly females. It's altogether 7 of us. It's 4 boys. Excuse me, it's 3 boys and 4 girls. And I don't have to get into the treatment of how the mother, you know, single mother household treated the women, but in regards to something trying to tie it into the Sandra Bland thing, it's been plenty of times I went to jail, whatnot. But they won't come see you unless it's something they need from you. And this doesn't matter about who you're dealing with. The average female that's raised with the feministic mentality or the entitlement mentality feels like you're there for their services, basically. They need to get something from you. If they can't benefit from you in some way, form, or fashion, you're not much importance to them. It's like, Allah knows best how true this is, but this is what it seems like. And if you talk to other people, they say the same thing. You lead a family to deal the same thing.
Yeah, I really looked at this, and I actually have some books here about this. Surprisingly enough, you might not believe it or not. I'm actually kind of unfamiliar with the African American community. My mother's actually not even African American. My mother's actually South American Indian. You know, she's Arawak Indian. She's half Arawak Indian, half white. My dad's actually from, you know, the African American community. I grew up in Europe, so. But I was talking about this. I was doing a series on R/K selection theory that I never finished. And I was talking about the African American community in terms of R/K selection, and how what's observable from my perspective, what's lacking in the African American community are two things. One is altruism, you know, and two is the deferral of gratification. Altruism, you know, in the sense that you make personal sacrifices that currently in the here and now do not benefit you, but it benefits the whole, you know, aka community / tribe. And then when you look at the deferral of gratification, it of course what supports altruism, because you defer your current need for gratification and satisfaction, that feel good feeling, for the future, you know. And when you really look, this is something that, and people get mad at me because I do this, but you know, I'm not overpraising white people, but we just have to look at demonstrable facts on the ground. White people have accomplished a lot. They have dominated the world. How did they do it? They grew up in an environment that demanded altruism and the deferral of gratification. You cannot live in a cold environment like Europe or Norway, and then, you know, you eat your seed crops, and then when spring comes, you have nothing to plant. You're going to die because you have no crops come, you know, next winter. So they had to learn deferral of gratification and altruism working together in order to survive harsh winters. When you look at the African environment, there's year-round food, animals, whatever else. It might have been less so, you know, of a necessity when you look at like the rest of the world. And so for some strange reason, this disappeared from the African American community. Now I say it disappeared because when we look at post-slavery, we had a series of Super K African Americans, and they created the likes of Greenwood, Black Wall Street, the Tuskegee Airmen. You know, we had massively genius Black communities at those times. We had Black banks, you know, Black stores. Where have we seen anything produced like that? They were closer to, and this is why I don't accept the slavery argument. We're still suffering from it, because those people were closer to the end of slavery than we were. They were coming right off the heels of slavery, and they produced the best fighter pilots of World War II. The Red Tails from Tuskegee Airfield, they didn't lose a single bomber. They flew all the way to Berlin and back. Not one all Caucasian air unit can make that claim. They had more to prove. They were spectacular men. They were closer to slavery than we were. Why is it that they could produce men like that, but we can't produce men like that in our time? These are men that you could not ignore, even in that time, as much as they tried. You can blow most of us off. That, you know, they can basically blow most of us off. The only reason why they don't is because we got like goofballs like Kanye West out making a damn fool of himself. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this whole selfish lack of altruism, lack of, you know, deferral of gratification is a serious problem, you know, and especially in family. You can't have that with family. Absolutely not. You want a good example of people who are really good at that? Look at the Arabs, man. I lived with the Arabs for almost 7 years. Those people, you can say what you want about them. They're racist and whatever. And Noor will know, because me and Noor met in Qatar, you know. Those people have a family unity that is above anything else. Noor?
Would you?
Yeah, we met in Qatar. Me and Noor. Me and Noor were in Qatar together, and those people, man.
So y'all are also familiar with how Qatar also acknowledges the American way of child support.
Qatar doesn't really have a system like that. You know, they don't really make it, as far as I understand, they don't really punish men for a divorce, which is
No, they
Islamic.
don't.
You know,
But I'm saying, if someone from America and you go over there, they definitely acknowledge that.
Yeah. Super Milka says, indeed, sometimes your own family is your biggest enemy. Naab says, that's disgusting. There's a small window each month for a woman to get pregnant. So she, oh, wait, no, that's a different topic. Sorry. Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's difficult to hear you, Nor. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it better now?
Go ahead.
My mouth, literally.
You sound like you're speaking through a Coke can.
Alright, you know what? Should I just take the mic off then?
Yeah, I mean, the just biggest issue is the echo.
Is it better now? Is that better?
There you go. Yeah, well, it was.
No?
Okay, just go ahead. We'll try and hear you.
Yeah, I was just saying it's not just the guitarist, man. I think it's the whole it's in general, like, you doing something that actually kind of
Yeah, it is most of the Middle East. Yeah, you find the Khaliji Arabs. I mean, the Gulf Arabs. They are generally family oriented. I also lived in Saudi Arabia for a short time, and it wasn't much different there either. You know. Yeah.
saying that's true. Sometimes they won't talk about that. And make it even more. We both know people that are going through major
Is Nobes, you still in the channel? Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Oh, you start your camera. I'm talking to Sharif
Yeah.
too. Sharif about to try to join too, but he got iPhone, so he got to download the app.
Okay. But in terms of being unfair, bro, that's all it is. It's unchecked. It's unchecked hypergamy. You know, it's just like the results would be just as bad as unchecked polygamy, because what is hypergamy to women is polygamy to men. Rollo Tomasi talks about in the Rollo Tomasi talks about this in the first book of Rational Male. And he basically says, in order for one reproductive strategy to succeed, the other one has to concede, you know? So if a man wants to be polygamous, he has to get a woman to give up her monogamous ideas. Or if a woman wants a man to give up his polygamous ideas, she has to convince him of his monogamous ideas. But what's happened is society has supported the female monogamous reproductive strategy over the male polygamous one. And it's done that by force of law. And so what it's done is created an exceptionally bad, you know, an exceptionally hardcore like imbalance where it's like basically people should they should leave it alone. Just, you know, if people want to be polygamous, let them be polygamous. If they want to be monogamous, let them be monogamous. But what happens is this goes back to what we were talking about, the different groups of men. Beta males who can't compete, what do? They create laws which makes it easier for them to have access to women, right? Which is prevent polygamy. Because the 6'2" guy who has half decent brain skills or brain power and starts his own construction company and works with his muscle but makes a lot of money, he's going to have 6 wives. And the guy who drives the nice car, but he's like a weak, lame schluffer who doesn't know how to lead, but he just basically knows how to process paperwork very well, and so he makes a lot of money. He's not going to have as many women as the guy who looks good and is a natural leader of men. You see what I mean?
And then when he do get women, they're going to leave him and go to the guy that has 6.
Yes. So, you know, you're in an environment like this where you have the beta males who are basically enforcing monogamy on other men to try and make it easy on themselves. And then what do you find now? What do we always talk about in the group? Super simps, super psycho simps. These are the guys who have a scarcity mentality in regards to women. These are the guys who end up killing women because he can't imagine a world where he would get a woman of that beauty or, you know, whatever else again. So he freaks out. He has a scarcity mentality, kills the girl out of his own fear of losing a woman because he doesn't think he can get another one. And I say it all the time. You know, I was saying it to a brother, and alhamdulillah, he's getting married now. He watches the channel. I'm like, you know, keep it pushing. Every time he has a meeting, this brother had so many sit downs. You know, I mean, just ridiculous. This is in London, and London is like a wasteland when it comes to getting married as a Muslim. It's a really difficult spot. I'm sure Noor, he can confirm this. You know, but this brother,
difficult to get married over there?
It's very difficult.
struggle.
You hear him? He's saying it's a struggle.
Something like kind of
So this
weird.
brother, mashallah, he's getting married now. But I kept on telling him over and over. He's like, man, they just said like this, like this. I'm like, man, just fire and forget. And he's like, all right, I got to sit down. I'm like, bro, when you go into that sit down, and I got this. Give me 1 second. Hey, can you guys keep it down there for me, please? I said, when you go into this meeting, imagine in your mind, you just left a bus. It's not even my saying. I got it from Bill Burr, that you just left the bus of Swedish supermodels. And they're all yours. That's what you need to go into that meeting like. You cannot have a scarcity mindset in regards to women. You know, women can smell it on you, and women don't like insecure and needy men. They can smell it on you. They need to be able to smell it on you because their safety, both financially and physically, relies on you not being needy or insecure. So let me say, hold on, we got some conversation here. Super Milka says, I like watching old movies and the way of life they show, which was reality. They had public punishments for fornication, and this is something Islam does in general in the Middle East. And a person who committed it had F for fornicator burned on their forehead. Okay, we don't do that in Islam, but Naab
Hey,
says,
send Reef another invite. Send Reef another invite.
Okay.
Real quick.
Give me 1 second. Women and men should seek contentment. Fix it, whatever it is. As a Muslim, we should allow our children to marry young and in their late teens and early 20s. If the encouragement is in Islam is to marry early, yeah, from the hadith that we know. He also says we should allow our sons to stay in our houses even if we can't afford to rent or study, and even our daughters and our husbands if it must be. Yeah, this is part of generational wealth. When you look at the Arabs in the Middle East, they generally like the son. They'll stay in the house of their family or close to it, even after marriage.
The Indians too.
Huh?
The Indians too.
Super Milka says, yes, I would agree with early marriage, but from what I see these days, boys and girls in the age of 20 are nowhere near mature to be married. Okay, Super Milka, I understand they are immature to be married, but if you don't marry them, then what are they going to do? They're going to end up fornicating because you either got all that testosterone and all that estrogen running through them, and so it's got to go somewhere. Tawus, he said, he was a great scholar of the past. He said 2 things prevent a person from marrying. He said inability or sinfulness. So those are your options.
That's heavy.
They're spoiled and not ready for serious marriage. Yeah, I agree. They can mature while married. Yeah. You can arrange in a way that they stay in your house and be patient. Okay. Yeah. So invitation. Let me see if I can't find this guy's email again. That was
just joined it, eh?
No. This is DeLeo, right? The DeLeo one, right?
No, not the Leo. Reef.
Do I have his email?
Yeah, send it to you.
Okay, hold on, look at it. Because I was reading at that time.
Also, they had when they mentioned about one of the sellers, was it Ibn Taymiyyah Rahimullah that mentioned it? About if a woman is aware of your love for her, she can control you. I don't want to misquote it the wrong way, just translation meaning, but she can control you basically how she wants without being like a gesture.
Yeah, it was Ibn Taymiyyah. Yeah, it was him. Your microphone is terrible. Noor, your microphone, man, it's
crazy. I can hear you.
Yeah, we get spikes like the beginning. I heard your voice and then it just trailed off into nothingness. Okay, I sent him the invitation.
Okay, with the REIDD one, right?
No, actually, I sent somebody else. Oh, okay. Let me send this guy one too. Oh man, I'm this would be a really full room here.
I know, Sadiq, you might feel alone in here, but it isn't too many women that's actually even willing to just sit and listen. Some women either going to interrupt or do just crazy stuff. Can't just be cordial. So.
Yeah, we had a pretty good conversation, me, you, and the girl yesterday. She didn't want her name mentioned, so it's a good thing the video didn't work out, but her entire voice didn't broadcast, and so it looked like I was having a conversation with myself. I must have looked like a madman to anybody watching live.
Really? Wow, so I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, bro.
It's bad.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but we just hear the echo now, but it's better. It's much better than before.
I took the mic off.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that hadith by Ibn Taymiyyah, man, that was really good. So relatable to today's world as well, like how things are today. You know, if a man's overly obsessed with a woman, I'll destroy it. She has full control.
Yeah, it's true. And he said something that's also very true, that basically it's like, a woman is a cruel taskmaster, man. That's a cruel taskmaster. It's and of course women don't like to hear that type of stuff when you say it, but I don't think they notice their behavior when they do it. Because generally this is why I say you can't love a woman without holding her accountable. If you don't teach them about their behaviors that they're manifesting in themselves, how will they improve? So then what you'll end up having is a woman who can constantly attract a man, but she can't continuously keep one. How is that not cruel and unusual punishment? Unless that's her entire goal in life, to just, have a revolving door of men in her life, just, hit it and quitting it. Okay, then that's different. We can't fix that. But this is why I always say, if you are on any sort of red pill ideology today, you are without doubt considered to be someone that's considered a dark lord of the apocalypse, if you will, for lack of a better term. You are one of the bad guys. You are going
very
against.
Verbal about it, such as that myself.
This is why, this is why you get attacked a lot on Facebook, bro. Just
hey,
be honest.
Tomorrow's Feather Ruffler Wednesday, so I'm gonna turn up. I'll just let you know.
Naab says there's a famous woman. Her name is Katie. Her boyfriend threw acid in her face because she no longer wanted him. This is a scarcity mindset. This is a psycho simp. Scarcity mindset individual. If I can't have her, nobody else can. So I will kill you or ruin your beauty. These are dangerous men. This is generally, Islam has an answer for this too. This is why we as men are walis to women. We protect our women from these type of men, because just like women recognizes anything about women, if a woman tells you something about a woman and she's totally unrelated to you, like if, some neighbor says, that's a bad woman, you have to listen, because what's her investment in you, to tell the truth. So it's the same thing with men. We know men. We know the boring guys. We know the betas. We know the players. We know them like within the first 5 minutes of talking to them. I'm pretty sure most men can confirm that. So, when you come as a wali, that's an absolute responsibility that you have to take seriously. You can't just be handing her out to the worst of men. You can't do that.
So you think I'd be wrong if I turned a guy down if I were to have a daughter in the future? If I was to turn a guy down that I don't think can fight, even if he had a lot of elm?
This is a tough one.
Punking guys. I'm not saying I'm the biggest guy out there. I'm not that big, but
no, absolutely.
Punking guys sometimes, and they just be annoying me.
This is a tough one because this was going back into something I was talking about. Like this dude Hassan I was talking to and I was conversation with, and I was like, different times produce different types of men. When we look at the Sahaba and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these were all, by any stretch of imagination, all scholars, but those guys would chop a man's head off at the same time. So it's not impossible to be and do both. So you have to ask yourself, what has prevented this man from developing himself into a deadly force and also a social force or an educational one? What prevents you from doing that?
I think heavily influenced by the indoctrination of what America, or shall I just say the West, is teaching.
Well, yeah, the emasculation of men. So this is a man who's bought into this Western society's ideology of emasculated men. The concept and the idea of toxic masculinity, which shows that he has what? Low willpower. Do you really want a man like that for your daughter? He has low willpower. He's easily influenced by the society around him, or his family has failed to inculcate masculinity into him from the youth. I teach my kids that violence is not the answer, but it is an option. You have to be prepared to use violence because you never know who's standing in front of you. Another principle I always teach is deal with reasonable people reasonably. but deal with unreasonable people extra unreasonably, because the foundation of their being unreasonable is already the starting point. They won't understand unreasonable. You have to be extra unreasonable with them, which can lead to what? Hostilities. So you have to be prepared to teach your kids, especially your sons, that violence is actually, yes, it is. It is a viable option. It's not the answer. You don't, it's not your first go-to.
And you don't
Absolutely
want to get
not.
pieced up in front of your wife, like the guy I
No.
mentioned earlier.
But one thing that I didn't learn, and why I probably like am quick to violence now, and I'm not really quick to violence. Let me not say that, but the reason why
More like confrontation.
I'm so ready for confrontation, physical confrontation, is because I grew up such a nice kid, man, and people walked all over me, and then one day it just clicked on me. I was like, yo, I don't actually have to put up with this, And then it actually turned into a type of anger. I guess you can call it an early red pill stage. Like, yo, this dude's taking me for an idiot. And this is why it's one of my biggest pet peeves, that anytime I get a new wife, unfortunately, I've had more than I like to admit, I tell her, it's like, don't insult my intelligence. It is a instant red button. I was like, you press that button, man,
You're ready to pack them bags. We'll be at parents' house for a couple of
Yeah,
days.
exactly. You better be packed. Don't even pack, because I'm gonna put your stuff in a trash bag. Don't insult my intelligence. And so when people insult my intelligence these days, man, bro, that's an instantaneous, like, I'm already internally ready for fight. I'm just like, you know what? But let me intellectually slay this dude so that he wants to fight, so that I have an excuse to knock him out. That's something I want to do anyway, But it never works out like that. Alhamdulillah. Allah protects the people from me and me from the people. Alhamdulillah. I'm not tested like that.
Abdurrahman,
Yeah.
I gotta shoot off, bro. It's quite late here, so I'm gonna.
All right, Che. Yeah, I'm about to close this off here in a minute myself, man. I got early shift in the morning, so we'll close it off in a bit here. We just sort of ranted, but it was nice.
It's only about 5:30 here.
No, lucky, nice. It's like 12:30. It's going on 1 a.m. out here, man. And I got like morning shift, so I had to be at work at 6 a.m.
Alhamdulillah. Come on, man, let's kick it, inshallah.
Yeah.
What are some other important points you want to touch on before you get off, though?
Yeah. You want to close off? Any close off statement, man?
Don't be a sucker.
Very well said.
He's going to touch on a few more points before we get off, though, inshallah.
Nah, I mean, if you want to go now, I mean, I'll give it about maybe another 15 minutes to 12:30, and then I gotta throw in the towel.
Now, you can go now, but we can touch a few more things, and we just update you or something in the group or something, inshallah.
Yeah, the video will be online. And that'll actually make the video about an hour straight.
All right, guys, I gotta shoot off, man.
All right, Che. Yeah.
Now, at the topic you're saying, why is it unfair?
Sorry?
Can't hear you. What'd you say?
I don't know how to work this one. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, well,
no, we hear you.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
Okay. No, what were you trying to say? You trying to say something?
No, I don't feel good at the flu. But anyway, inshallah, I'll join another time. I don't really feel too good today, so assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Super Milk said the Prophet Muhammad said 3 times, don't get angry. Absolutely. That's the best thing you can do. But we're all humans at the end of the day. We all have our shortcomings and our poison. So.
Nah. And also to mention on that, we know what's the best to do. However, what makes it difficult in regards to, we also know that Prophet Muhammad mentioned in our stating narration that women would be the biggest test for us.
Yeah.
Just today, they will test you to get angry.
Yeah, he did say, I've left you no greater fitna than women.
And women will test you to get angry. Some women get a kick out of it, some women just doing it out of their natural biological makeup, to see what the limits that you have.
You gotta imagine. Look at the. And a lot of people don't think about how heavy that statement is, man. He's like, I left you no greater fitna than women. He didn't say the Dajjal, or what the Christians know as the Antichrist. He didn't say, Gog and Magog coming out of the earth and taking over the planet. He didn't say disease. He didn't say famine. He didn't say war. He didn't say alcohol. He didn't say gambling. No, he said No greater fitna. He didn't say I didn't leave you a greater fitna than the Dajjal. Can you imagine that? A greater fitna than the Dajjal. I mean, because
If I'm not mistaken, wasn't it women that destroyed the nation before us? It's a narration or something that mentions something about that also.
no, I think there's a hadith that says something to the effect of like, well, I don't know, maybe, but I know there's a hadith that says that any nation that takes a woman as a ruler is destroyed. I know that.
Yeah, we posted that quite a bit back during when Hillary was still running. And look at the wisdom behind that. Every time we see the difference between a matriarchy and a patriarchy, we always see that it's not built for women, but women are always too busy trying to compete with men that they don't want to hear that. Like, just be humble and accept your position. This is not for you.
But generally,
There's
I mean,
exceptions to the rule, but you can't make it as a whole.
The problem with this is that women don't know their place anymore these days.
no, agreed.
See, they feel they must have to compete with the brothers, and I disagree with that because a woman is a woman. Allah made us women and made men. He didn't make women to become men. And they realize that they are women. So
Yeah.
stay in your place and be a woman.
It would be beautiful if more women thought like that.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Yeah.
As you can see, sometimes online exposes it, due to the egos.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that yesterday, though, in one of your in the group yesterday. You mentioned that social media made it easier for women to just basically go crazy. They get their daily doses of attention, their ego boosted, and whatnot.
That was today. I actually posted that
Oh, that's
today.
it.
Yeah. It's my humble opinion that it's probably better for women not to be on social media. Probably better for men not to be also. But apparently, for some strange reason, it seems to have more of an effect on women. I think because men and women look for different things, what I was talking about earlier, where like women enjoy attention in the time of a man. And so this is a type of crutch, or let's just call it surrogacy, for lack of a better term, to get that attention fix. Because just like when a man is unrestricted in his sexuality, it becomes an illness in him to where he just repetitively sleeps with women unchecked. He'll sleep with as many women as he can get his hands on, and it becomes an illness. It's a spiritual one, in which it leads also to physical illnesses like AIDS or whatever else. But he becomes ill internally. It destroys a man's soul, and he'll just continue on to it. It's like feeding a dog. If you ever had a dog, I wasn't always Muslim, so I had some dogs. If you didn't measure how much food you put in a bowl, the dog will eat it until his stomach bursts. It's the same thing with women. Remember what I said about what is polygamy to men is, deference to women. If you provide women with unchecked deference, they're going to become addicted to it. To the same way that a man will become addicted to sleeping with multiple women. And this is what social media, this is how it damages women, because it just openly feeds their addiction.
Something
And then
that
here
should be
you come,
from.
Abu Jamal, and you want to get married. And it's like, dude, you here offering me Coca-Cola. I'm up here on crack, that's not, Sugar Fix ain't doing it no more, baby. You got to come with some, some crack cocaine, super strong stuff. You're coming with some pretty standard,
Mm-hmm.
You as one individual can no longer provide that because the difference that she's getting from online is just completely destroyed. And I actually wanted to do a video about this, but it was so complicated and it was so difficult to get into that I ended up abandoning it. And maybe I need to go back to it. Basically, it's like, how social media is addicting to women. And it goes into downregulation receptor transcription. And I wanted to make the correlation and the connection between a woman's love for time and attention from men and the dopamine rush that it gives, and how that dopamine rush can actually lead to downregulation, aka addiction.
Heavy sounds very heavy. When you can do this?
Huh?
He would get beat down on social media.
Sorry?
I said he would get beat down on social media, on Facebook, with these sisters on there. I'm telling you right now, he'd do that.
He's not gonna post it live. No, he could post it on his channel, and then whoever watching, that's them. He never posts directly on Facebook. You see how I get attacked, sister? Yeah, every time I get attacked,
It doesn't matter, whether he puts it at. Because these women, they feel that most brothers are bashing at them as it is. And even
Yeah.
though they're not doing it,
So,
they just keeping it real.
yeah.
But they feel they're being bashed because if the shoe fit, I say wear the damn thing. And a lot of them feel that somebody is bashing at them because of how they are. Women don't know how to be women. Women want to become men in a man's role. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You gotta be a woman. A lot of them might make you women. Learn how to be a woman. But see, a lot of times these sisters don't have a mother figure in their life either. A lot of them raised by brothers, and believe it or not, a lot of them are raised by brothers. Or the brothers that left their family, their mother, and they feel left out. So now they want to try to be, well, how can I put it? They gonna feel they big,
Independent.
bad, and whatever.
Mm.
Huh?
You straight blunt with it. I like that. That's why I got you. We definitely
And
appreciate you.
I'm very blunt. I'm very, very honest. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm a female. I'm 57 years old. I have seen some of these young girls. I look at them and shake my head at them today because y'all just don't know what it is to be a female. Y'all want to be out here in the streets, have that street mentality, and it's not getting you anywhere. It's not getting you anywhere. Period. Okay, now as far with them with all these daggone men in their lives, everybody want to, they like please, want to lay down with every Dick, Tom, and Harry. That's not cute. That's what you're doing. That's up your inside. You know that's what you're doing to yourself. They really mess up their body.
Yeah.
Inequality too,
Yes,
because the more men know about it, the more they don't want to be with them, and then that's when the shaming comes in.
exactly.
They try to force us to accept what they did in their past mistakes if we speak about what we don't want.
But see, to me, it's a two-way street here. When women lay down with a bunch of men, they consider us whores. But it's okay for a man to do it. No, it's not okay for a girl to do it either.
It's not, but it's more acceptable because
But
that's
they
the
treat
natural
people
nature of men
as
anyway.
dogs.
You know what I'm
Dogs attack fleas.
Yeah, I mean, I
saying?
think
Yeah,
the of course the innate nature of most men is polygamous, but unchecked polygamy is actually a problem. I mean, and of course, Islam came and regulated it. Before Islam, the Sahaba had 10, 15 plus wives, and then when
Right.
Islam came, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he made them divorce all the ones except for
That's
four.
cool.
you know but that a man
Exactly.
just goes and just as he wishes, unregulated, no rules, no regulation, is just really getting around, then yeah, that is problematic from the Islamic perspective, absolutely. And I think it does, like I said, I think it damages a man over time. I do think it damages him, but in different ways that it damages a woman. you know the effect on each of them is different.
right. Due to what we stated earlier on how the more partners a woman has, it affects her in the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's heavy. I don't know. And of course, this video, of course, we know this is just slowly but surely introducing the people that's live or whoever's listening into more of the red pill. So, inshallah, I guess in future videos you go more in depth into it, and I ask a lot more questions I think people need to hear. Because sometimes you feed them baby food, you don't give it to them all at once.
Yeah, true.
If you
Speaking of
say
which, it
something to
is.
your brother, who's that talking with the coat on his head?
Hmm.
Who is that? Abdul with the coat on his head? Who that?
That's
Oh, that's me.
no, she
I
said
had
with the
to.
kufi. That with the kufi.
Oh, with the
That's
That's
me.
kufi. Yeah.
no shirt
So
Yeah,
on. Cover
that's
your
that's
own
that's,
Aki.
that's Abu. That's Abu.
Oh, that's
Abu's
who they're talking right there.
that's the second comment I
family.
got about you being shirtless. That's actually the second comment I've gotten.
Mr.
I got a
Controversy.
WhatsApp about you having your shirt off. I got a WhatsApp.
What do you
Oh, y'all
do?
can't see
What?
me though. I'm sure I'm
Oh,
keeping it
no,
up
no,
above
no,
my
no,
head.
no, 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 no. Trust me, I see you.
Oh, really? Oh, my screen don't show it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because see, I'm a woman. I'm gonna tell you straight up.
Good
If
look.
you had one of these young girls on here that's seeing you, boy, your box will be blowed up. I'm telling you.
I ain't know y'all can see it because my screen don't show my whole body. It just show like part of my face. I ain't know you can see it. Good looks. Appreciate it.
Oh no, no, no! I see your little muscles.
Barakallah people for sure.
Well, I figured
But
about
anyway, it's about that time for me. I gotta close it out because it's gonna be 1 a.m. at the drop of a hat, and I gotta prep everything for the morning since I'm not gonna have a lot of time. I'm gonna have to get up and pray and then like just go straight to work. So,
Nah, one more
anybody
time.
want to make any sort of closing statements here?
Inshallah, business I'm living. I hope you guys will enjoy Feather Ruffler Wednesdays tomorrow. Inshallah, I'm turning up. As far as the heat on getting under skin.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna see it. I'm always front row for it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Walaikum
Just
salam.
closing out, Naab said social media is soul destroying network. Even out of attention, there's too much argument and people assuming they have intelligence beyond them, and people interact less with family and friends. Yeah, I agree with that.
Who did that?
That's true. That's very true. Matter of fact, I need to call my dad tonight.
Yeah. He says we're even becoming crap parents because of social media. Yeah, no, agreed. I have kids, but
that should be another video in itself. That's heavy. Who made that statement? That should be a video in itself.
not Ab. He made that statement. I take as much time as possible to teach my kids, of course, but as a man, you also need your endeavors on your own. So, you got to find that balance. Being a balanced individual, that's always a challenge. So,
Exactly.
Alhamdulillah, I
that
made it
is
to
a
my
challenge.
age. No kids. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. How old are you?
I just know I'm definitely far from 30. Alhamdulillah. And I'm just,
Okay, you're a young man. Okay, then cool. Okay.
yeah, alhamdulillah. I don't want, it's just open. Unless you're in my inbox, I ain't going to put it out there.
All right, cool. Hey, whatever. Okay, you got any closing statements, bro? Other than the Wednesday, you gave me the Wednesday. Wednesday's gonna be fitting today. It's gonna be a day to throw down on the people, ruffling feathers.
Anything I said good is from Allah. Anything I said bad is from myself and the shaitan.
Okay. So okay, cool. Well then, yeah, I'll start with that too. I'll start with that. Subhanakallahumma hamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Anyway, people, questions, comments, agreements, disagreements, drop them in the comment section. I'm always here. I try and respond as much as possible, which is probably more than I should, but I'm doing it from work, so don't worry, I'm getting paid. You're more than welcome to come on live. Like I said before, you don't have to be a fan. You can disagree with me. You can be in agreement. You can be male. You can be female. Go ahead and send me a message on my inbox here on YouTube or directly on my Abuamerican page on Facebook or on Twitter, or you can catch me over on Instagram, wherever else. There's multiple ways you can contact me. We'll get you on here and we'll hammer it out. So with that, the classic closeout. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Abuamerican. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're out.